Sorry guys, we had some technical difficulties again. Our internet is not great here. So we were at the Qs, the tech sector, which has been sold off. I told you during this week, some big names in this sector, Microsoft and Apple, were on the sell side for this rebalance of the Russell. So all in all, an inside day here. We are way above the moving averages. Tech is still in play. It has momentum, and we are still engaged with some of these names. You can see we had a very nice run in the past week. Our portfolio is doing very well, so we have trimmed into strength so we can buy a dip closer to the 8-day. This is what you do in an active sequence. You try to sell when you are extended from the 8-day and buy when you are close to the 8-day. As long as it keeps above the 8-day, ideal. If not, you can try the 21-day, but when these two break to the downside, you have to get out of the way. Let's move on to the IWM. This is the small caps. The small caps had a really nice week. They managed to reclaim the 50-day, and then they reclaimed all the moving averages, and now they are looking for a new high. The high before was 234.52. We are close to the high. This is a big channel for the small caps. Why are the small caps important? The small caps show you the investors' risk appetite. When the small caps are doing great, they are usually the leading indicator for the entire market. When you see the small caps trending lower and they are in a downtrend active sequence, then please take some risk off. This is what we generally do. So what pushed the S&P higher today? This was the financial sector, the banks. The banks had the stress test yesterday. They all did great. So we had a very nice sequence in the banks, and we were long the XLF. We had some options for this ETF, which we sold today very well. They are above the moving averages. They reclaimed the 50 and the 8-day and the 50-day, and then they closed above the 8-day as well. So momentum is back into this sector, and we are looking for higher prices in the coming week. Now let's move on to big tech. First of all, we start today with Facebook. Facebook had an inside day. It's still trending above the 8-day. Nothing special here. We are out of this name. We played it today for a small day trade. It's still acting very well, but we are engaged in other names which are not their high. We prefer to play some of the names which are above their moving averages but have not set a high for the year yet. Moving on, we have Apple. Well, if you remember, I kept saying that this level 132.79 needs to hold for Apple to keep this nice active sequence. What happened today? We didn't expect much from Apple. We knew it was on the sell side, and look at the low from Apple, 132.81, just above it. So what did we do before the close? We added to our Apple position, and we're gonna go long over the weekend. These sell imbalances usually correct themselves on Monday as new money comes back into the stock market, and usually those that were on the sell list, usually those are the stocks that are bought first. So we are long Apple. This is one of our core position in our portfolio at the moment. We are above the 8 and 21-day. Momentum is still with this name. It kept this important level, so we are quite confident about this name. Moving on to Amazon. If you remember, we said yesterday that this candle, it's not looking great. Momentum has been lost here. We closed below the 8-day. So look what happened today. We had this big level here. I'm gonna make the line a bit bigger, 34.35. We opened above it, and if you look at the daily chart, we went below it. I believe it was first 20-30 minutes. We went below it very fast. It reached a low of 33.94. Now momentum is lost definitely in this name. It wasn't on the sell side. There were some news yesterday about unionizing. There were some news about weaker than expected sales for their Prime Day event. So we might test the 21-day early next week, and if this one doesn't prove to hold, then you have the 33.50. It's a big level where we should get a nice bounce of this level. It's still a great company. It needs a stock split. Let's hope that with the new management coming in after Mr. Bezos leaves, they will think about the retail investors and the power of those investors and how can they make this stock better for everyone. It's very difficult to trade the stock, and it's not for everyone at the moment. So you have to be perfect with entry and exit points because it moves a lot. If you look here, you have 130, 140 points in 2 days. So it dropped 140 points. You have to be very careful with your entry and exits. You can make a lot of money, like we pointed here when you had the day one. When you had the day one above the moving averages, here it was a $300 move for one stock. But be careful with this name. It is losing momentum and it's not looking great at the moment. Moving on, Microsoft, yesterday, as I told you, they unveiled their new Microsoft 11 operating system. It was the Sell the News event. What did it do today? Exactly that. Inside day, it was also on the sell side. Nothing special about Microsoft. You know, for next week, it should hold this prior high to 63.19. This should be a big support area, which also coincides with the 8-day. And you have the first pivot resistance to 76.25 with the all-time high just a bit higher than that. We are not engaged in this name at the moment. Moving on to Google, what did Google do today? Here we said that it's not looking great, even though it made a high, then it made a lower high, and we said it's losing a bit of momentum. Today it played with the 8-day, it went below it, but it managed to reclaim it and closed actually very close to the highs of the day. So 24.52 is your resistance before a new all-time high, with 24.31 pivot support for now. We are not engaged with this name. We might do some day trading. This level 23.89 is a big support just below the 21-day if the markets turn down. Moving on, Tesla. What did we say about Tesla? Tesla was our biggest trade of the week. We had a very nice day one here. It gapped up and it went as high as 697. We said that it is very extended from the 8-day and we're not buyers here. We actually sold our position around 685 yesterday. Today, big red candle. But what did we say? When a stock gaps up, it needs to hold the gap that it's creating. The gap was 67.71. Let me move this for you so you can see it better. The low for Tesla was 670. So Tesla, all in all, is holding very well above the moving averages, above the gap it created. So we are actually long for next week, not the stock, but we sold some puts. We sold some puts for 630. It shouldn't go below this level if it's any good. So when you sell puts, you are basically synthetically long. This is something for next time to explain to you how you do that as well. You need to have a bigger portfolio in order to do that, but it's an interest to get paid for it. And if the stock is above this level by next week, you keep all the premium to yourselves. It's not for everyone. We will get into more details next time. Moving on, Nike. So what's the slogan? Just do it. And this is exactly what we did with Nike. I don't love to trend this stock, but I usually like to play the earnings. So why did we play Nike earnings and how did we play it and how did we do? Well, Nike, actually it's a great company. It has great earnings all the time, but the stock has been one of the worst performers of the Dow Jones this year. There were some news in China, there were some boycotts. The earnings were great, but people were saying that it was a big beneficiary of COVID, that people were buying sneakers and so on online, and that when the reopening will take place, Nike will be a loser. But as you all know, when expectations are low, when the chart is not looking great, and when it has earnings, probably that's the moment when you have to try and put some risk on. So what did we do? We just bought some lotto calls. This is what they are called. Usually lotto calls, you buy calls for the earnings with a strike price higher than the price of the underlying stock, and you hope for a big gap up. This is exactly what we got. It's a huge gap up. Actually, it's above the all-time high of Nike. It's a huge gap up, and this was one of our biggest winners. To tell you some figures as well, usually I don't like to do that because everybody has their own portfolio, has their own money, and it's not nice to boast about this. But just to make it quick, we invested 500 euros in options, and today we sold them for 2,500. So this is a profit of 2,000 euros just playing an earnings report. You don't have to do it for all of them. Usually we try with 3-4 a year, and if one of them works out, usually it pays for all the other losses and you keep some money for yourself as well. So this was a nice trade. As Larry David would put it, pretty good. Okay. Let's move on. Palantir. We had big expectations from this name. It didn't disappoint, but it didn't go to our target 2747. We said that it was on the buy list for the rebalance, but you have to keep in mind it had a very nice run. We trimmed more options today. We trimmed some stock. We are still long it. It looks great. Still above the moving averages. Lots of momentum in this name. It didn't happen yet. Our options expire mid-July, so we still have time to monetize on that. We are still long the stock and the options. Now let's go over some of our big winners from this week. So this is Triple D. We played Triple D here. You can see it's on the chart day one. So we played Triple D on this active sequence. We actually sold a bit earlier. We sold around 30 this time. The first time when we played it. Then it reached a high of 33. You can see how extended it was from the moving average. It entered into a downtrend. And what did we do on this day up? This was a day one. We re-engaged with this name and had a fabulous run up to 41, 48. It is very extended. I do not recommend buying now. If you count the days 1, 2, 3, 4 up days. So in general, active sequences start with the day one, and by day 4 you are either out of the name or you just keep a small trailer. Great trade for us, and I hope you will join our club soon on social media, on our website, so you can profit from these trades as well. And any questions that you have, or if you'd like us to do some charts for your requests, you can always email us at info@eclubtrading.com, or you can email me directly. It's alex@eclubtrading.com. Moving on, AMD, the semis. Inside day from AMD, it had a big run. It reached our first resistance goal of 87.14. Inside day here, still above the moving averages. We still have some calls. Actually, we bought some more calls. We bought some more calls for January. So the chart is looking very, very good. You can see actually most of the trades that we do, we post them live on our Twitter page, which is at ECLUBTRADING1. So you can find us there, and you can see more charts, you can see more information, actually live trades as well. Some of them we cannot post all of them, but you can get an idea. And then it's very useful when you come to the video, the markets close, so you can see how we did, where we did well, what worked, what didn't work. Okay, moving on. Netflix, this was a great trade for us as well. We didn't have time to go over this last time. We were already in the name here. It had a nice day one. We bought some options. We don't like to trade the name. It trades very, very difficult. It has big swings to the upside and to the downside. So we bought some options here, and we actually trimmed 75% of them here. This was a very nice 1, 2, 3, 4 days. What did I say? 4 days. Probably Netflix needs some time here to rebuild before a new leg higher. Why did we buy options here? Technically it looked great. And what did we know? On this day, on this red candle, actually Netflix announced that Steven Spielberg will be joining the team. It will be directing a few movies for the streaming giant. So this was a big news. It didn't have the effect on the day that everyone expected, but the next day you had a very nice move, so we got engaged here. So you have to be careful with the news, you have to be careful with the charts, and when both of them work together and you have some volume as well, that's when the trades work best. So this was Netflix. Moving on, B8, this we added yesterday. We said this was a day one. It managed to go as high as 250, 230. We sold more of our calls. It was a nice profit. It's not something great, but it did work. So day one, what did we say? In order for this to continue, it needs to hold at least half of this candle. This is the basic rule. It held more than half of the candle. So far so good for buying. We still have about 30% of our calls left. Next up is Wish. This was on the Reddit list. Is the #1 meme stock on Reddit. Everybody's talking about it. We have some calls for mid-July. Nothing special today for this name, but with the other meme stocks down today, actually this one acted better. It's still building here above the moving averages. This looks like the formation of a new bull flag. So for next week we need to reclaim 1469, and then the next resistance is 15. After that, as you can see from the chart, it has some room. Probably, let me just do it for you quickly. Probably it has some room up to here, which is 19 euros. There are a lot of cold sweepers for July for $35-40. This seems a bit unrealistic, but why not? You never know. You saw what happened before with Gamestop, with AMC, so this can happen here as well. So we are very small engaged, probably less than 1% of our portfolio. We are playing this name just with options, not with stop. So let's go to AMC. What did we say yesterday? We said that it was a very tight chart. It was a very tight wedge type chart, and that it needs to resolve to the upside or to the downside. What happened today? It opened just above the 8-day and it went as low as 52.97. All in all, it is losing momentum, but if you are still in it, or if you have a thesis on this name, it is still holding above this important level of 51.50. So if you want to see for next week if it can act better, first of all it needs to hold 51.50. 51.50 is not it does not hold 51.50, then we will test the 21-day quickly and we have some space to the downside up to the 40 area. So be careful with this name. See if there is any momentum left in the meme stocks. See which ones pop up on Reddit if you are into this, and from then on look at the volume. These stocks cannot move on fundamentals. They have no real fundamentals. Remember that. They are not for everyone. They are just speculative trades, and you need to be very careful. You need to protect your trades, know your entry, know your exits, book the profits when you can, and move on. These are not investments for years to come. These are, most of them, they are bankrupt companies. They have absolutely no fundamentals. They are just a pure short squeeze play. Moving on to the other one, GameStop. What did we say about GameStop? We said that it was losing momentum. It was forming a huge bear flag here. What did it do today? 204 was the big level. It broke below it and actually managed to close above it. So all in all, still not completely broken, but I wouldn't be long any GameStop here. It doesn't show any promise of better places. The only good thing about it is that it closed above 204. So if you played it with this level, you could have been short once it broke 204 if you are very, very active trader on the meme stocks. So you could have made $6 to the downside, and then when it reclaimed 204, you could have been long and made a few bucks to the upside. So you can play these names both to the upside and to the downside. It depends on your time frame and on your experience. Now let's look at crypto. What did we say? 3 up days. We expected a down day. Absolutely no strength for Bitcoin. What did it do today? Actually, this line is not drawn today. This line is from here. Actually, we started drawing it. So you can see today it almost touched our downtrend. It was immediately rejected and it made a low of 31,500. Nothing special. It needs some big news. It needs some big volume in order for it to act better. All in all, if we look at the bigger picture, this is a bear flag. So this low of 28,600 might not hold in the coming days. We shall see. For better price action, it needs to reclaim the downtrend first of all, then the 21-day, and here it will be the big resistance area. So whatever you are investing in Bitcoin, know that momentum is not there at the moment. The same is true for Ethereum. This is the last one we're gonna go over. Ethereum made a low of 1791 today. Oh, sorry for that. Sorry, fat fingers. So the low was 1791. Below all the moving averages, lost the 200-day, which is crucial for any stock or asset, and it is looking very, very vulnerable. If I were to bet, but I'm not a betting man, I'm a chart guy. If I were to bet, I would say that Ethereum will break this low of 1700 this weekend, depending on how crypto acts. But if crypto is weak, Ethereum, which was a leader of crypto this year, probably is gonna be taking the whole crypto lower. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. Thank you so much for joining us in the past week. We hope you had a good productive week, and remember, tomorrow is Saturday, then Sunday. Relax, spend some time with your wife, with your husband, go out, support some local businesses, Enjoy the weekend. Don't think about the market. The market is going to be here on Monday. eClub Trading is going to be here on social media. We're going to do the videos every night. We are here to help you. Any questions you have, you can always email us, info@eclubtrading.com, or on my personal email, alex@eclubtrading.com. And remember, if you want more details, follow us on Twitter @eclubtrading1. Thank you so much, and we will see you on Monday. Enjoy the weekend.